So welcome back, and this is round 7 of the Southern League and Open. So tonight we're at Gosport, and because there's 50 people fishing, they've split it into 3 zones. So the east zone is at Gilkicker, the middle zone at Browndown, and the west zone at Leon Solent. And for my sins, I've drawn Leon Solent. So this is about the 6th time this year I fished a match at Leon Solent. So sorry we're back at the same place, I can't help the draw. And I haven't done very well this year. This is mostly a hound beach. Certainly in the summer months, it's mostly a hound beach, and a lot of matches come here because of those hounds. But this year, the hounds haven't been so good. If you watched my last video, I think the winner had 2. We had 14 blanks out of 23 people. And one of the issues on this beach is if that pack of hounds do show up, it's great. You could get half a dozen. But if they don't show up, you're really struggling to find something else. There could be a strap conger. There was a couple of strap congers caught in the last match. There could be a few bream, but this year the bream have been very small. So small that they, I'm talking under 18 centimetres, which don't count in this league. So it's difficult. We've got to hope for those hounds. So on tonight's menu, because we're looking at the hounds, I've got spider peeler, which I don't like. So if you watched the last episode, they're good because that's what the hounds are eating, but I do find them a lot more messy to peel than the normal harbour crabs. And I've got my prawns, I've got my squid in case we have to go for some of the bream, and then I also went and dug some maddies in case things get really desperate. Sometimes this time of year you can pick up a bunch of small bass, literally just a couple of rod lengths out from the beach. So if things get desperate, I've got a lighter rod and a fixed ball reel, they might come out to see if we can find some of those little shoalies. So I'm starting off tonight with a Pompey loop rig, prawn on the top, and that spider crab on the bottom. I mean, it looks like a really nice juicy bait. I've just not had much success on it. Oh. I've had this in a couple of matches where people have caught in the first couple of minutes and then nothing after that. It's not normally me that gets them. 85?
Yeah.
It's not going to make... Oh. Well, there you are, my turn for a bit of luck for a change. So I was first cast and I was trying to film the rod, see if I could get a bite on film. And after a couple of minutes, I thought, oh, I can't just leave the camera on. So I turned the camera off. And as I turned the camera off, I looked up at the rod and it had gone completely slack. And I must have reeled in 20 or 30 yards of slack before I made contact with the fish. And it was mostly running towards the beach. It ran up to the left. It didn't really fight hard until it was very close to the beach and suddenly realised something was wrong. But I'm on the card. I'm fishing Leon Solent and I'm on the card. So when I was landing that fish, it actually came off as I pulled it up the beach. So I wasn't sure which hook I caught it on, whether it was on the crab or the prawn. When I've just gone to rebait that rig, both baits were mashed up and both hooks were bent. And if you've watched some of my other videos, you might know that I was using chino hooks for hounds because they're very strong. But I thought I was missing bites or maybe not getting bites. I wasn't doing very well for hounds. So I thought I've got to change something. So I changed over to Manta Extra, thinking it's a slightly thinner hook, but it's nice and sharp. Give them a go, but it should be strong enough. They're stronger than the normal Aberdeens. But that cast, both hooks were bent. So I don't know if the fish took both baits or whether the hooks got caught on a snag on the way in or something. I don't know. But very odd to find both hooks bent. So I've had to change the rig. Yeah, most of the rigs I've made up tonight have got those Manta hooks on. So what do I do? I mean, you do need a stronger hook for the hounds, and also you've got to play them a bit. They're not. It's not a fish that you can know. Look, I've got a bite and just reel in and reel in as fast as you can. You can't do it like that. You've got to let them run. You've got to undo the slack on your line a bit. Let them go. If you put too much pressure on them, the hook will either give or the hook will bend. But vice versa, you mustn't let any slack, and that's why it came off on the beach. Or maybe partly because the hook was bent, but you mustn't give them any slack either. Any slack, and they'll throw the hook. So you've got to have that bit of balance. Decent strong hook. Make sure when the fish takes that it's you set the hook into it, but then don't put too much pressure on the way in, and don't have no pressure. Find that balance. And I can say all this because I've actually caught a fish. So 1 hour in, and I've just got that one hound of 85 centimetres. I haven't looked up what I get for that. I've probably shown you the conversion chart before. Smooth hounds. 72 ounces. £4.8. So I've not had any other bites since then. When I caught mine, the guy to my right caught one pretty much the same time, and then the guy to my left, he hooked one, but it snapped him. But that's all I've seen. So they just come through in those packs, and we had that pack in the first sort of 10 minutes of the match, and it's been quiet since. The weather forecast said there was a chance of rain until about 8 o'clock, but that looks like it's coming towards us. So it's 10 o'clock, so that's 2 hours in. I've not had any more bites. The guy next to me there's just had a little tiny smooth hound, and that's it. Other than that rush at the, I say rush, there was 2 of us had reasonable hounds in the first 10 minutes. But other than that, I've not seen anything else really caught along this section. And it's a question of what should I do now? I wonder what Gareth Southgate would advise me to do. He'd probably tell me to not cast out, save my bait, hope everybody else gets a blank, and then at least I get a draw. So what I might do is high tide, I think, is 11. So we should have slack from about 10:30 to 11:30. I might drop short, put smaller hooks on, small baits, and drop short. See if there are some little hounds. I know there's some little eels have been being caught. There could be some little shoalies around. Maybe I'll give that a go for an hour. The trouble is, this is a weight match. It's not just length. There's a conversion chart, so it's about weight. So one 4-pound smooth hound is equivalent to an awful lot of little schoolies. So is it worth the gamble, or do I stick it out, see if I can get that another hound? But with nobody else catching, I don't know. Right, if I don't catch anything this cast, I might give it a go, just for a little while. So I know that's very small, but at least the plan worked. That's only been in the water a few minutes on my maddies. So there's one of my maddie baits. And it was only in the water a few minutes before I had that little hound, so I'm going to give it a go for an hour. I'm not seeing other people catch anything. So it's better to be catching something than nothing. And on this, this is just a 3-hook flapper, and I've got pop-ups on the top 2 hooks. Trying a bit of squid on the top hook, and maddies on the other 2. So 3 hours in, and for the last half hour, 45 minutes, I've just been scratching close with small hooks with maddies on, and I've now had 2 tiny little pups. Now it's a bit of a gamble, because obviously if I stayed out with the big baits, I might get another 4, 5, even 10-pound hound. But I'm not seeing other people catching the big hounds, so at least this way I'm getting some fish. And in the rules of this league, any hound under 50 centimetres, you just get 8 ounces. So by scratching around close with those maddies, I've added an extra pound. I think it's the right gamble for a while. Certainly over the high tide. As the tide starts going down, I might try and go back out further. The other reason for not going back out at the moment, the people that are sticking it out and putting those big baits at distance are getting a lot of weed. So they're getting a lot of weed, and I'm getting some little fish. Okay, so it's midnight now. There's only 1 hour to go. I haven't had any more hounds, but when I tried to go back out to distance, there was still loads of weed, and the other guys near me who are still trying to fish at distance, they're getting lots of weed. There was one guy further up. In the last hour, he's brought 3 fish to be measured. I couldn't see from here how big they were, but I think he might be doing similar to me and scratching around close trying to get some of the little ones. I think it was the right thing to do. I mean, I'll find out when I get back, or at least when the results come out. I might find that lots of people have caught lots of big hounds, but those are the choices you make when you're match fishing. You know, do I stick it out and try and get another large fish, or which could have ended up with nothing, or do I scratch around and try to pick up some small stuff just to add to my cards? I think it was the right choice. Certainly over that hour of high tide, I caught 2. I had 2 or 3 other bites that I missed. It was the right thing to do for that hour. Whether it's the right thing now, I don't know, because it has gone quiet. But again, I'm not seeing anybody getting the big fish, so maybe it's worth still holding out. And in this league, they have a species of the month, so there's a prize if you get the largest species that's named for that particular match. And in this match, it's a bass. So while I'm scratching around here, yeah, I suppose I could get a big bass, but I think there's a chance I might pick up a little bass, because in this weather, fishing in close like this with maddies, you can quite often pick up some little shoal bass. And if I'm the only person that gets a bass, but it's quite nice. It's quite a nice way to fish like this, fishing in close, fishing light. I've gone down to a 3-ounce lead, just a 3-hook flapper with some size 6s on, 4 or 5 maddies on each hook. And the fact that I'm quite, if I get back and I find that I haven't done very well and people have picked up a big fish, well, fair enough. But this is match fishing, and I thought, I was struggling. I thought of a plan, I tried it, and I started to catch some fish. So I'm quite pleased with what I did. We'll see whether it was the right thing to do or not tomorrow. Look at that. That little beauty gets me another 8 ounces. That's the rules. So I'll go and get him measured, get him back in. I quite enjoyed this scratching thing. There's only 20 minutes left. Let's see if we can get another one. So there's just 5 minutes to go. A couple of people have packed up and gone because they haven't done very well. I know the guy next to me has had his hound that he caught the same time I did was about 8 or 9 pounds, so he's definitely beaten me. And then the guy next to him has been doing similar to me, only better. He's been scratching and getting a lot of little ones, so you can see he's got enough little ones to catch up with me. But I don't know what other people have done further along the beach. It'll be interesting to see how I've done. But I've enjoyed this sort of scratching, trying to pick up a couple of little fish. So, unless anything happens in the next 2 minutes, I'll let you know the results. Before I get to the results, and I don't think I've asked for this before, could people please like and subscribe the videos? The more you like and subscribe it, the more YouTube will share it with others, and I'll get more views. So if you wouldn't mind at the end of this video, that'd be absolutely great. So here are the results of round 7. In Zone A, Darren Phillips was first with £5.2, second Jeff Fisk with £4.13. Zone B was won by Joe Wells with £12.2, second Ben Arnold with £10. Zone C, which is where I was, Dave Wade won it with £27.8 and Dave Ware was second with £17.6. So obviously some people found a few hounds, but I still think I did the right thing. Not that many people caught more than one decent hound. So in the part of the beach I was in, I still think I did the right thing. Dave Wade and Dave Ware were the other end of my zone from me. Heaviest fish also went to Dave Wade with £11.12, and the fish of the month, which was bass, was jointly won by Daz Newland and Joe Wells, who both had bass of 47 centimetres. So I came 8th in my zone in the end, which I think is respectable. I'll live with that. Not a too bad a result, and I quite enjoyed it. I quite enjoyed trying something different and fishing close in and scratching. So thanks for watching. See you next time.